Hi everyone, it's time for Unit 4, and this mini lesson is going to focus on the Unit 4 individual project where you get a chance to create a personal budget and analyze expenses as needs and wants. We are also going to look and learn at the 50-30-20 budgeting strategy. So let's begin. From your course homepage, scroll down and you'll see the Unit 4 assignments. We have 2 assignments due this week, the IntelliPath lessons and then the Unit 4 individual project. So click the Unit 4 individual project assignment details. This will go through the points for the project, the due dates. There's even a link on how you can submit your project. And finally, under assignment details, you're going to click here to download your Word document. So I'm going to click there. And then I see the Unit 4 assignment template. You can click download, and that will allow you to actually open it as a Word file and save it to your computer. So let me close out this other one. So here's where you're going to enter all of your information. Please make sure you read all the directions so that you know exactly how to earn full credit for this very important assignment. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to list your annual salary, okay? So we're going to create this budget based on your salary, either current or maybe what you think you're going to be making once you earn your degree, or on your state's median salary if you're just not sure or not wanting to give any specific information. So once you decide what your annual salary is going to be for step 1A, then you will go to step 1B, which asks you to break down your annual into monthly. So all you're going to do is take your figure in 1A and you're going to divide that by 12. So where it says show work, I would divide my salary in 1A, divide it by 12, and that gives me the gross monthly salary, and I'll enter that into the template for step 1B. Once I have my monthly gross salary, I want to determine the take-home pay. That means the pay after all the taxes have been taken out, health insurance, all of those things with your paycheck. So you can, if you have a pay stub in front of you, you can actually take those deductions and show your work to show, what it started with, subtract off each deduction, and then what you're ending with on your pay stub. If you don't have one readily available, a realistic amount would be 10 to 30% less than your gross monthly wages, okay? So you can figure that out by just taking, if you want to use like 20%, you could take 20% times your gross monthly salary, and that will give you the amount that you would subtract, right, from that gross monthly salary to give you your what you get to take home. This right here, step 1C, is the most important part of the individual project because you're going to keep referring back to this over and over and over. So you've got your take-home pay. You move on to step 2, and here's where you really break down and create a budget. So you break down all your expenses. And the important thing to know here is that when you come up with these budgeted amounts for each of these categories, you have to make sure that in total you match step 1C. So if step 1C says $2,000, then when I add up everything in the budgeted column, it needs to be $2,000. So you use all of the money that's your take home. And there is a spot for savings. There's also a spot for other. So there's definitely a place for all the money to go. If you don't use something like childcare that you'll see listed in a budgeted category above, then just put a 0. So try to really flush out your budget. Have fun with this assignment because it's very real world applicable. So again, this total right here needs to match exactly what you put in step 1C. Move down to step 3, which is categorizing what your budgeted amounts are into needs and wants. So again, right here, this comes from step 2, this part right here. So you're basically copying step 2 and pasting it right into, don't do what I did, step 3. So once you copy and paste that first column, now you're going to say, okay, if I have $1,000 budgeted for housing every month, is all 1,000 a need, or is maybe 800 a need, and I paid 200 for a slightly bigger apartment, or an apartment on the corner, or an apartment with a balcony? Did I pay an extra 100 or 200 for something that I just wanted? So you can break them apart. Maybe housing is all 1,000 is a need, 0 is a want. But maybe for food, maybe you have 800 a month budgeted for food, and maybe you decide that 650 of your 800 is a need, but then you have like 150 that you decide that's restaurants, Starbucks, vending machine, gas station, snacks. So that 800 for food could be broken apart into, a portion is needs and a portion is wants. So again, this is your budget. Do what fits, but try to make sure it ties back, right? Your needs and your wants need to add up. So if I have 650 and 150, then it needs to add up to 800 if that's how much I spend on food each month. So again, make sure this column here matches what you have here. Make sure in total it matches what you have in step 1C. And then what you're going to do in step 4 is you're going to total what you broke down in step 3. So you're going to calculate the total of your needs column. So you're going to add up all of these figures right here. And then for wants, you're going to show all your work to show how you've added up the wants for step 4B. So show your work for A and B. And then what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, well, how much of my take-home pay was needs? How much of my take-home pay is wants? Again, you're going to get them from steps 4A and B. Savings just comes from right up here. Savings is something you budgeted in step 2. So you'll list that as well. Then in step 5, you're going to want to calculate the percentage of your budget assigned to each needs, wants, and savings. So you're actually going to say, yes, I know I have, let's say $1,200 a month going to needs, and I have $400 a month going to wants, and I'm saving $200. Again, I'm just throwing some random numbers out here. But now you're going to say, well, what percentage of my budget is that? What percentage goes towards needs? What percentage goes towards wants? So you'll take your totals from step 4. So everything really is reading off of previous steps. So we take our totals from step 4. That step 1C, that's ever so important, we're going to list that dollar amount here, here, and here. And then we're going to say, okay, how much of my needs, how much of my total monthly take-home pay do I allocate to needs? How much of my total monthly take-home pay do I allocate to wants? How much to savings? So you're going to actually be able to find the percentage by just dividing. Okay, so you'll just be able to say, 1,200 divided by 2,000 or whatever, you'll get your percentage. So that is step 5. And really what you're wanting to see is you may not match a 50-30-20 budget. 50-30-20 means that 50% goes towards needs, 30% is wants, and 20% is savings, debt repayment, things like that. So that's in like this is a type of budget. It's not the only type. So yours may not match that. And that's okay. What we're really just trying to do is just kind of compare and give you a really good understanding of what you're spending, how much of your money is going towards needs, how much is going towards wants, how much is going towards savings. And then finally, in step 6, you really are going to say, my percentages, let's just say your percentages were 60, 40, and 0. Let's say you didn't save anything. 60%, 40%, and 0%. You're going to compare them to, okay, what would happen if from my monthly take-home pay, again, that ever important step 1C, what if I did put 50% towards needs? What if I did use 30% for my wants and 20% for my savings? What would the recommended distributions be? And then finally, in step 7, you can really compare, well, I'm 60, 40, 0, and I'm spending, probably more on my wants, and I need to allocate more to savings. So now you're really going to compare your actual percentages from step 5 to the 50, 30, 20 recommended percentages in step 6. And it's really just reflection on your part now, how it aligns, what things you might change. And so step 7 is really actually pretty fun, because I'm hoping that we all have some good takeaways after walking through this assignment. And I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with.